Dear entrepreneurs, it's Roberto, and jet lag is a real thing. A lot of you have asked me about mentorship. You've asked me who I consider my mentors to be. Some of you have reached out to me, told me that you consider me to be your mentor, and some of you have even asked me for one-on-one mentorship, which is something, unfortunately, I just don't have the capacity, the bandwidth, the energy, the time to do with running a full-time business, doing speaking engagements, travel, and then putting out daily content in multiple platforms. It's just not practical for me. In fact, one of the reasons that in my business model, I've focused on paid one-on-one coaching a lot lately is because I haven't had the ability to give as many people individual one-on-one help as I would like. I try to answer questions and comments in my Periscope live Q&A sessions, in the 2 Blab shows that I do each week, and obviously in Twitter where I'm heavily engaged. But sometimes it's just not enough and I can't go deeper with people and really help them. So after I do stage talks like I did at Shutterfest last week, like closing out the end of March, I did Shutterfest in St. Louis. Great speaking event. Met a lot of wonderful people in the photography community. I spent literally 2 hours plus after my stage talk just talking to people one-on-one in the hallway and in the restaurant of the hotel, and it was amazing. It was tremendous to help those people. There are actually some people who from that have talked to me about wanting to do the one-on-one coaching, and that's just extremely helpful. But I know that having that hands-on one-on-one can make a real difference, because my greatest overall mentor did that for me. And my greatest mentor, as cliche as it sounds, was my mom. There's a lot of ways that somebody can be a mentor, and I mean, it's different for everybody. Everyone has their own set of needs, but then also everyone has their own teaching style. And that's why, there are people who do benefit from my content and my teaching and instructing. And then there are people who need somebody else, and it's different. And that's why I don't worry about competing in a saturated market, because everybody needs what they need, and not everybody can deliver on what you might need from them, or everybody may not want the same things. So everybody has choice, and I think that the democracy of the internet really allows for that. I think one of the most important things that my mom instilled in me as a mentor was the ability to learn on my own. Not to just hand me all the answers, but to give me a way to figure it out, to give me processes, to give me examples, to introduce me to new things that would stimulate my own mind and make me look for the answers and be curious. I think fostering curiosity, fostering excitement around doing and learning something new is really awesome, and I think it's the best way to get somebody to be a lifelong learner. And I think that that's what really encourages and inspires me to do my content, is to just kind of provide that same value to other people. There are obviously a lot of people who've influenced me over the years. I mean, a lot of them are here over on the bookshelf. Obviously, Gary Vaynerchuk has played a big influential role in my life, but Gary was also confirmation that I'm not insane. A lot of it was stuff I already knew, but it just meant that I wasn't crazy. And there are other people that have been influencing me longer than that. I mean, Joel Comm wrote one of the first books that helped me with online entrepreneurship and making my first real dollar online. He wrote the AdSense code, which has been sitting on my bookshelf for a number of years before I ever found out about Gary Vaynerchuk. There are just so many people that I think have influenced me and played a role, and not all of them were from the world of the internet, but a lot of them certainly are. 2 of my earliest influences in childhood, both intellectually and creatively, were probably Bob Ross and LeVar Burton from Reading Rainbow. I really loved watching the art tutorials from Bob Ross as a kid. That probably inspired a lot of my tutorial content, to be honest, and my approach to it. And then with LeVar Burton, he really got me excited about reading and learning through Reading Rainbow, and about creativity. There was just so much there, and it was great storytelling. So those things influenced me, and I would definitely consider them mentors and influencers of mine very early on. And I think that that's important as far as who I became today. As far as YouTube goes, I wouldn't say there's really a lot of people or anybody who influenced me here. I think that, and I think you guys will tell this from like my content, that A lot of what I do is really organic and it's really all me, and I made my own format. I did a lot of rogue things that go against the conventional YouTube wisdom. You guys notice that like I don't have like a fancy show bumper intro. I don't do the YouTube outro end cards or anything like that. I'm aware of those things. I know how all those things work, but I decided that they weren't for me. I decided that getting straight into the content and delivering you guys no nonsense value and no fluff was really important to respect your time. I decided that ending the message, you know, with something personally and inspirational, ending the videos with create something awesome today, was much more important for all of you than any value I would get out of having something at the end there with links to other videos or something. And the thing is, the truth is that later, if I can make both work, if I can give you guys inspiration to end with and be jazzed about, and then do something for me at the end, if I figure out a balance with that that I'm happier with, then that could happen in the future. But as of right now, it's not a priority. The channel's growing. I'm satisfied with where it's growing, even though double is always better. And it's fine. So I'd rather have the emotional relationship and inspire you and guys say, hey, create something awesome today at the end of every video, than not. So you can tell by a lot of my content that I don't have a lot of people that have influenced my direction. Now in my business, I have a lot of people who I would say mentored and influenced me from afar. Scott Kelby probably being a great example as a photographer and somebody who also reverse engineered his knowledge into a media empire that I really respect and admire. My friend Terry White, another photographer but also a tech enthusiast, definitely influences me in terms of some of my buying decisions or things I look at as far as new technology, and then I form my own opinions. So I do have some influences and some mentorship with regard to those things. I think that between Jared Polin and Gary Vee and watching them take their health seriously as entrepreneurs, that I was already a health conscious guy, and I used to run track in high school, and I used to work out a lot in college, but like watching them step up their health and the difference it made in their life and in their business kind of like put a fire under me to make that a big priority this year. So I do have people that do influence me. I do have mentors that I look to for guidance, but at the end of the day, I only am really looking for something from them that resonates with what I already have going on internally. And when they say something and it triggers a beat in my chest that sounds very familiar, then I pay attention. I think later in the future, as I grow as an entrepreneur, I might do more one-on-one mentorship when it's practical. Probably after my next move, which is looking very much like Atlanta. I think that might be a more practical thing for me, especially if I decide to do like a co-working space with WeWork or something like that. It'll make more sense. Ultimately, there'll probably be somebody that I take on as maybe an apprentice for either video editing, video production, or both. There might be somebody that I bring on as a assistant, and they would get a lot of mentorship and guidance from me. And the thing is, it'd probably work kind of like an internship, probably an unpaid internship, because you guys, like, I charge a lot of money for one-on-one coaching and consulting, and those rates will probably go up year after year after year. The value in what I'm teaching, I can't, like, it wouldn't be practical to match that in terms of a salary for somebody. I know there's people who are going to disagree with that and won't like that, but the reality is, if I had the access to somebody who was 5 or 10 years ahead of where I wanted to be, and I did this, by the way, a lot, I would probably trade a few hours of my time for that access, because if I had to pay for that knowledge, I couldn't afford it. In a lot of cases, a college education, something that people really can't afford and start their adult life in debt with, doesn't provide them the same value as working directly with the practitioner that is in the place that they want to be and they want to grow to. And you can get there a lot quicker if someone teaches you. That's why the first year that people work, they almost always say that they got more learning out of that first year on the job than they did the entire 4 years in college. And also, by the time you enter the marketplace, a lot of your college education is outdated depending on what industry you go into. especially if you're talking media, tech, marketing. You know, it's going to be really dated and it's hard to keep up if you haven't been a real practitioner or if you haven't learned from a real practitioner. So that's kind of the direction that I'll probably be heading with as far as that goes. Even now, I'm doing a little bit of virtual intern stuff. It's just hard to keep up with keeping people consistent and staying on them. I think this is why a lot of people prefer to do that with people that they can put hands on. So everybody's different, everybody has their own model, and that's kind of the direction that I'm heading with. I very much believe in putting in the work, proving something, and earning everything that goes with that. And I think that there are too many people who don't respect the process enough, don't respect the value of real world learning enough to be willing to give some of their time to that. I know people right now who, and I'm not judging their escapism, I'm just saying that rather than spend 2 or 3 hours trading their time to learn from an entrepreneur that has been successful, they'd rather play video games. They'd also rather trade that time to work at a paid job or a paid internship where no one wants to teach them anything and wants to use them for cheap labor, but then they make the argument, well, I'm getting something, but you're getting, like, you're working 3 hours and after taxes you're getting $30 or something like that for that day part-time, versus if you traded like 2 hours to, like, you know, somebody with a non-paid internship, they might be willing to give you 45 minutes to an hour that they would charge $500 for, that you couldn't afford, to teach you probably the most important lessons and skills that put them where they are today. I mean, honestly, if I could work with Damon John or Gary Vee or Mark Cuban right now, even at the level that I'm at and what I'm doing in my business, and I had to trade them 10 hours this month for that access and that learning, if I had to trade 10 hours of my time for 2 hours of theirs, it would be worth it to me. And then some. I know I'd be winning. I know I'd be getting a bargain. So, you know, when people go a different way on that, everyone has their needs, everyone has their own situation. I'm not judging that. I just think that sometimes it's a scarcity mentality thing, and I think that people are not respecting what it actually takes sometimes to be successful, and that when you have zero leverage, you have your time to trade, and I think that matters. Out of anyone that I could recommend to you to follow and to get some kind of like virtual mentorship from right now as an entrepreneur or somebody in the business world, I would say look at Pat Flynn, look at John Lee Dumas, look at Gary Vaynerchuk, look at Kimra Luna, Kimra Luna, look at Zach Spuckler. Yeah, we're not doing editing for this. We'll do jump cuts. We're not editing my mistakes. They ride. I own my mistakes. So yeah, I would say look at those people. I think that's going to be maybe my top 5 for you to follow, and I think that's 5. So let's recap that real quick. Look at Pat Flynn, John Lee Dumas, Gary Vee, Kimra Luna, and Zach Spuckler. I think they're, and I'm going to throw Damon John in there too as a number 6. Especially because of his new book, Power of Broke. I really think that that's going to help a lot of you who are starting from nothing. So those would be my recommendations as far as for people that you should look at as entrepreneurs in your journey, and that you should reverse engineer them as virtual mentors. Again, mentors don't have to be physically present and hands-on with you to create value for you. I'm creating value and building a relationship with you guys every single day. And most of you do not have access to me, not directly, not physically, so that matters. But anyway, as far as getting in touch with me, guys, ask me your questions on Twitter. I try to answer them. Leave stuff in the comments. I try to answer that. If you want to jump in with me face-to-face about anything creative, I do a blab.im video chat, which is like a face-to-face video thing publicly on blab.im. And that's on Mondays around 6 o'clock with me and Jason Liebman of Liebs Media. On Fridays, I do YouTube Biz Chat at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Owen Hemsath of Videospot.net, another great entrepreneur. So, you know, that's how you get face-to-face with me, unless you want to do paid one-on-one coaching, which you can reach out to me via email about that, rblake@robertoblake.com. You can find all the info on the website. I also do Facebook Live, so you can be following me there. I do Periscope. I do super deep Q&A twice a week probably in Periscope, but that's random. It's usually Tuesday and Thursdays in the evening when I have time. So those are places you can reach out and find me, and that we can interact more if you feel like I'm a good fit for you and that I'm providing you some value as a mentor. That's how you can access me. To be honest though, like, the reason I do the paid one-on-one coaching is success isn't one size fits all, and if I can focus just on you, it's probably going to be better for you. Anyway, that's it for my thoughts on mentorship and mentoring and all that good stuff. Now you know a little bit about my mentors, you know a little bit about how I approach it and what my thoughts are for the future. And I hope this helps you in your journey. Hopefully it helps you as an entrepreneur get some context. And that's going to be it. So guys, keep up the good work. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this series. I'm enjoying it too. It's been fun. So just go out there and, of course, create something awesome today.